Okay, guys, just checking. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me. All right, guys, very good. So let's go ahead and get started here. All right, we got Stanford Dickerson says, thank you for all the videos. I passed my PMP. Well, congratulations to that. Make sure you celebrate well. As long as I can help you pass, that's what matters. I got Tara says, I bought your books. Well, could you get your application approved? Of course, that's a good thing. That's a step. That's a real finishing the application is such a pain in the behind. It's always a great thing to know that that's over with. All right, we got somebody's got their test on Saturday. Good luck for that. Another person, Niha, passed your exam. Congratulations once again. Man, you guys don't know how many congratulations I had to write. Like, I have to write every single day. So many people I tell congratulations to on my LinkedIn, on my Udemy, in my live classes, and so on. It's amazing how many of you guys are acing this exam. Make sure you celebrate well, Niha. Another one, track. I think today I've probably said congratulations to at least maybe now 20-something folks just for today alone. Track guy, congratulations to you also. Make sure you celebrate well. Okay, Stephanie says, do we need to know all 49 processes by heart? And the answer is no, you don't need to memorize them. All right, if you're asking me to memorize that entire table, the answer is no, you don't need to remember, but you do need to understand them. So you should know them. Like if I tell you develop scope, you should know what we're doing. The exam is not going to make you list out the processes in any particular order. So I don't think you need to memorize them by heart, but you do need to understand them. So if you see them, you'll know, okay, that's a real process versus this is not a real process. All right, another person passed. The amount of congratulations today, I'm telling you, it's insane. Congratulations to you also. Answari, I think is how you pronounce that name. I butcher people's names. I'm sorry if I mess up your name. Taking my test tomorrow. Any test taking suggestion? I'm so nervous. The night before an exam, you're always going to be nervous. Even me, I've taken over 100 certification exams and I get nervous with them. The thing to do is you got to get a good night's sleep. I can't stress that enough. You got to get a good night's sleep. Take it off your mind as much as you could. The best way, now this is going to sound crazy, the best way to take a test off your mind is to accept the worst outcome. God forbid you don't pass. People are nervous. When people say, I'm nervous about this exam. It's really what they're saying is that they don't want to fail. They're scared of failing. So if you want to remove that nervousness, just say, you know what, worst thing is I don't pass. And then you got to take it again, which is not the end of the world. I mean, you could take it again pretty quickly. So try your best to, don't be nervous. Get a good night's sleep, and I think you'll be fine. If you fail the third domain, if you pass the first and the second and you fail, you might still pass because the second one I think is only 8 or 7% is what it's worth. It's the business domain is not worth a lot. Chris, somebody says, I would like to thank you for always encouraging and motivating to pass my. Congratulations, Chris, on passing your exam once again. Make sure you celebrate well. Buy some cake. Drink a couple of beers. I don't know. Just bought the PMI authorized PMP exam prep. I'm not sure what that is. Are you talking about their prep course that they have online for like $700? Is that what you're talking about? Is it worth it? If that's what you're talking about, I don't know. I've never used it. You know what's worth it? My stuff is worth it. It's my stuff. I'm going to tell you it's the best stuff. But I don't know if PMI stuff, how good it is. I've never seen it. I'm assuming you're talking about that self-paced class that they have. Roland, I just answered your question. Please don't do that and keep posting the question over and over. Do you feel, Tara is asking me a question, do you feel it's necessary to read through the PMI practice guide for any additional information, including my books? I think in my video course, I did an amazing job covering the Agile stuff. It's about 8 hours worth of Agile content in there, 8-9 hours, something like that. So, but I still tell people to go through the Agile practice guide. If you watch my videos, if you read the book, if you read my book and stuff, you'll realize that I covered quite a lot of stuff. But I still want you to go through the Agile practice guide. First of all, it's free, so I don't see why not. And it's only about 100 pages. It's a really small thing. Maybe in a few hours you can get through the entire thing. And although my issue with that book, it's not very laid out very well from a beginner perspective. Like if you don't do Agile projects or you've never worked on an Agile project, the Agile practice guide is a little difficult to understand. But if you go through my stuff and then read it, I think it's pretty easy. You're gonna get through it pretty quickly. Okay, I got another question from John. Says, what is the most difficult area of this new PMP exam that PMP candidates had issues with? The most difficult area that I think people are having problems with, considering that this is an easier test, in my opinion, is people are having a little problem with Agile. You got to understand the Agile process. Once you understand the Agile process and understand the different meetings that like the sprint review meeting, the sprint planning meeting, the daily stand-up meeting. Once you understand these different types of things, once you understand the Agile terms, I think it gets pretty easy. So, there's a lot more people, I think, in the world that follows traditional projects than Agile projects. Agile projects is predominantly only used in software development versus traditional projects is used everywhere, including software development. So more people are more familiar with that than this. I think that's the hardest thing that people are having, after speaking with quite a few students on that. All right. Other questions here. You guys got a lot of stuff here. I think I scrolled too far down. I think I missed a few questions. If I missed your question, maybe just put it back again, okay? All right, Chris is saying that the test was mostly situational, about 70% was agile. And that's, Chris, and for the rest of you, guys, that is the current test. For whatever reason, lots of agile questions are put on there. PMI said that it was supposed to be 50% traditional, 50% agile and hybrid, and they end up making it like 70% agile. And Chris is not the first one to tell me that. Quite a lot of people have mentioned that this exam really is 70% agile. And a lot of people have told me that quite a lot. Somebody asked me a question. What is the difference between decision tree analysis and tornado diagrams? For that, you're going to find in the quantitative risk management process, perform quantitative risk analysis. And decision tree analysis, they call it make or buy decisions. Decision tree analysis is to determine whether we should go with one thing over another. It incorporates the cost of the risk with the actual cost of the product. That's why it's called make or buy analysis. Tornado diagrams are basically only used to show you how one risk affects multiple sections of a project, and it'll also show you I'm sorry about that. I got distracted here with the chat. It also shows you how it affects both positive and negative risks. So that's how it forms the funnel on there. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Can we speak in this session, or it's the only way to with these live streams, the only way to talk is to actually you have to type in the chat. Okay, somebody else that took the exam says they got 50% predictive, 50% agile. I mean, that's how it should be. But a lot of people are getting a lot more agile questions. Chris says, thank you for the agile mindset. You guys got to review the mindset. If you have the book, if you have the videos, review the mindset section. Make sure you do that before taking your exam. That's going to be important for your tests. Neha says 80% agile. So Neha, you took an agile test? Wow, this is insane. 80% agile on the questions. Yeah, that's quite a lot of agile questions. So for those of you that haven't taken your exam, one person is saying 70, the other person is saying 80% agile. So if you have my book, if you have the videos, watch the agile sections quite a lot. Read the agile practice guide if you're not familiar with agile. Once again, Roland, you keep asking me the same question. If you pass the first and second but fail the third domain, you should pass. The third domain is a small percentage. No one knows the percentage, but if you get below target in that, you should still pass, in my opinion. Hey, Andrew, if I took a PMP course during my master's 8 years ago, does it still count? If you took a PMP course 8 years ago and it was 35 hours, it still counts. All right, still counts. Those 35 hours you get will never, ever expire. One person says, almost done with your Udemy course. It is really good. Thank you. Exam in 18 days. Keep studying. Homer is the last name there. You got this. Chris says Chris did my Udemy course, 1,300 prepcast questions. You guys got to remember, I recommend, a lot of people ask me what additional practice exam you guys can get. I always tell students to study, to just don't study my materials only. I tell students when you're studying for any exam, not just PMP, as your career goes forward and you study other certification. Remember, I got 62 certifications. And in every single one of those certifications, I always try to find multiple study materials. If I'm reading one book from this author, I'll get a video class from another one. Or if I'm doing one study guide here, I'll get questions from another one. You want to get different perspectives on the material. Yeah, I'm going to tell you my material is the best. Why? Because it's mine. But the Prepcast is very good. I called them up. I got you guys a discount. Check the course for the discount code. So let me give you guys back that discount code for the Prepcast since you guys are talking about it. So if you're going to do the Prepcast, use this coupon code, you'll get a discount on it. All right, so if you're doing, it's very good. All my students that uses it passes the test. So a lot of my students, they do exactly what Chris do. They use my book, my study guide, and my Udemy course. They do a lot of practice on because my course alone comes with a bunch. Did a bunch of Prepcast questions and they all pass. I mean, that seems to be the normal one. All right. Should be around for the PMP celebration. Thanks. Amit, you're asking me a suggestion for practice questions. I just gave you the Prepcast one. Check that out. The PM Prepcast, go online. You can just Google it. You can find it. What is the official percentage of passing the exam? No one knows. PMI has never published that score. PMI does not give a percentage of passing. It doesn't actually say that you need this percentage to pass. They just don't do that. Stephanie's asking me a really good question here. Andrew, how much do we need to know critical path, meaning like late start, early start, and so on? You should understand critical path. You should be able to at least do a critical path going forwards and backwards. Hit and miss on some people's exam. A lot of people just get a very basic critical path question. But the exam could give you one where you have to calculate the slack on a certain activity. And if you have to calculate the slack on an activity, you're going to have to know how to go forwards and backwards. So at that moment, you should be able to do at least a critical path. Now, on the exam, don't expect a very complex critical path. If you have my guide, you watch the videos, if you could do my critical path stuff, those big diagrams I did, it's more than enough for the test. I've never had a student tell me, I found critical path to be difficult after, going through my videos and books and so on. So you should know it, although don't expect a ton of questions on it. 1-2 questions the most. Chris says the prepcast was much harder. Yeah, that's what you need. You need something harder. Okay, somebody says I did cover the Agile. Somebody says you cover the Agile stuff better than the Agile practice guide. Yeah, I do cover quite a lot of stuff in those Agile videos. Roland, don't do that again, Roland. Don't put the question so many times. If not, I'm not going to be answering your question anymore. The Agile Practice Guide, log into your PMI profile, find the part where you can download the PMBOK, and you're going to get the Agile Practice Guide. It's part of your download. You should be a member of PMI in order to get that book. Somebody says, would be helpful if you can please share the links to your YouTube videos. I don't have any YouTube videos on Agile. My videos on Agile are in my study guide, the e-learning course that comes with it, or in the Udemy course, or my PMI ACP Udemy course. Somebody says I've scored 75% on the Agile exam and I've gone through process domains. For this new one, I still have cold feet. You're always going to have cold feet. You're always going to be nervous about taking a test, okay? So nothing to worry about, right? A lot of people have cold feet going into an exam. Just don't worry too much about it. Just go and take it. I got to do a video on... What do you guys think? Would you guys like to see a video on how to remove exam anxiety? How not to be nervous about an exam? Would you guys like to see a video like that? I should do one like that. Oh, it's quite a lot of questions, you guys. How should we approach the questions? Assess before act. Generally speaking, depending on the question, what you guys got to do is review the previous videos I did with all these live sessions when I go through the question. So many people have told me that they have found these sessions very useful as I go through the questions with them. So you guys can go through those questions again, because they're posted back to YouTube the next day, so you guys can always review them again. Practice question. The practice question, Amit is asking me, the practice question is the PM Prepcast that you can use. So the PM Prepcast, or if you buy my course, it comes with all the practice questions. If you want additional, use the PM Prepcast. Ami says, when implementing a risk response, it requires a fast track and an activity. There's one, update the schedule with all the PMIS, or submit a change request. Submit a change request. Because you're modifying the plan. Somebody asked me a good question. In the actual test, when you get the 10-minute break, can you get up and walk away from the table? Yes, you could. If you have internet issue while taking the exam will end, and if you can restart it, it will give you the ability to restart it. All right, right where you left off. Somebody says, if you study my Agile section, would you pass? Well, yeah, but you just can't study Agile alone. You got to study much more than that. Are they going to go into specific things in Agile like DS, DM, or Crystal? Not really. You know, from what I'm hearing, a lot of the Agile questions are basically just Scrum and Kanban is really all they're asking. I haven't heard about any other methods that's out there. Nia says, okay, with Scrum, XP, and Kanban. Yeah, and Scrum and XP is very similar to Scrum. So, yeah, I haven't really heard of any other. Those are the three most popular ones. Another person that passed, Dana says, I passed the exam on Saturday. I was surprised at the difficulty level. It was mostly common sense stuff, very little memorization. See, I told you guys it was easier. See that YouTube video I did? I told you it was easier. You know what? I've been teaching PMP for many, many years. Close to 15 years now. And I've never seen so many people pass. I don't know, maybe because I'm more popular now than ever before, but so many people pass. Unbelievable. Good luck. Well, not good luck. Congratulations. I wish you the best in your future. Make sure to celebrate well, of course. Get some cake. Cake is always good. What in Agile do you recommend? I recommend to do in Agile, know your Scrum process, know what Kanban is, and I think you should be fine. Remember, XP and Scrum is very similar. Maybe review the XP process. I have videos on that also. Chris says I did not have any questions on critical path. No fill in the blank. 7 drag and drops. Pretty strong. Nia says 20 drag and drops. No fill in the blank. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people is getting fill in the blanks. We saw this last week too. Stephanie, you're going to pass it this Thursday? You will. You will. Sure. Good one. How does Joseph Phillips' course compares to mine's? I don't know how to answer that. Joseph Phillips is an amazing instructor, and he's one of the best. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna tell you Joseph Phillips is better than mine's. Joseph Phillips is an amazing instructor. Let's just say he's been teaching it longer than me, I think. Joseph Phillips been around a long time, all right? I don't want to tell you the guy is old, but Joseph Phillips is an amazing instructor. You can't go wrong with his material. Is he better than me? Go watch some of my videos, and you determine that for yourself. But can't answer that question. That's for you to determine. Okay. The Agile section if you're looking, if you buy PMBOK, right? I don't know if I have my PMBOK anywhere around here, but my PMBOK has the Agile Practice Guide attached to it. I have the actual PMBOK book itself. I know a lot of people download it, but I bought the book when it first came out. It comes with the Agile Practice Guide attached to it. It's a small thing. It's about 140 pages. It's about 100 pages. Yeah, that sounds about right. That is correct. Okay, you guys are saying it would be good to watch that video. Yes. Somebody else that passed. I'm not going to have anybody come in next week. I think all of you guys are going to pass, and nobody's going to show up to my live sessions next week. Shawshank, I'm not sure to pronounce that. Passed the exam at above target in all areas. That's for these live sessions, and many, many questions are coming from these questions. Congratulations once again. It's like the 40th person today, I think. All right, congratulations. Celebrate well. Got some cake, of course. All right, Chris says, I took Philip's course and Andrew's course. I had to sweat. Andrew's approach is better. No comments on that. Phillips is amazing. Great teacher. This person also said I had 10 matching questions. You see how that's varying, right? That's interesting. One person said they had 7 matching questions. Another person says they had 20. Another person said they had 10. So let's just say maybe 10 to 20 is a good number. The change management plan is part of develop project management plan. It comes with the project management plan. It's not created anywhere. There's no single process for it. It's in that integration process of develop project management plan is where you get that. All right. You guys got quite a lot of questions tonight. Okay, Rachel says to me, can I explain the Stacy complexity model? I can't remember seeing that in part of our exam objectives. But that is something that categorizes tasks or categorizes work into different categories. I can't remember seeing that or hearing about that showing up on your exam. Yeah, it categorizes things into different categories, categorizes work into different categories. And then what you have to do is it then tells you how the best way to fix those problems or issues. All right, you guys got a lot. You guys are just talking here. Kenny A, another person that passed. Wow. Guys, how many people have passed in this session today? Amazing. Kenny A, congratulations. Get some cake. I tell everybody that. Get some cake. I'm glad I was able to help you guys pass. Yeah, number 41 persons for the day. What are a few things we must memorize? I still recommend for people to know their EVM formulas. Memorize your EVM formulas. Know your definition, understand, not so much memorization, understanding the rest of it. That I think you should do. Understand what's a process and what this process is doing. Know the flow of Agile. Know Agile terms. Know what are tools and different types of techniques. Know different. Know your really important. You want to make sure you know the mindset. You know that section in the book where I go through the mindset. Make sure you know that. That's That's one of the key. The videos, you can get them on Udemy. Just go to Udemy, put my name in there, or you can, if you buy the study guide, it comes with it. Kenny had 5 drag and drops. Well, look at that now. So we went from 5, one person at 5, one person at 7, one person at 10, the other one at 20. There's a big range here. That's a big range of drag and drops, huh? The Agile process. I got to do a drag and drop on the Agile process, maybe next week. Okay, 7, no joke, 7, lagging. You know what? Hold that question at the end. Let me do practice questions with you, and I'll answer that. I'll spend a few minutes on. Somebody's asking me the question between leading and lagging metrics or matrix. There's no, somebody's asked, can you take the course in person? Unfortunately, no. There's no in-person courses, not yet. Maybe in June. AJAY loves 99. Hello, Andrew. I passed PMP this Saturday. Guys, how many people are we going to have passing? There's a lot of people passing, guys. So for those of you guys that haven't taken your exam, I don't know how much more encouragement you're going to need. That's amazing. Your questions and answer help me put myself in the right mindset. Amazing. This person had no question on X, Y, Z theory or the MBIT. This person had 12 matching questions. So I did have one person that at the beginning of the chat, if you guys saw, they had a question on MBIT. MBTI it should be. Remember I did a video on that last week? Somebody said that video helped them to get one right. If you're doing mock exams, try to get at least 70 to 80%, I think is a good score. And Andrew, do you think we should know the prior techniques such as Kano analysis? Yes, you should. That's showing up on people's exam. That's in the PMI objective too. This person says it well. As he always says, project managers do not take immediate action without analyzing, thinking, assessment, and so on. Most questions fall in there. Yes, if you guys remember just that alone, you get a whole lot of questions correct. What are the other reasons a project can be terminated? That's a good question. What are reasons project can be terminated? When the project can't meet the deliverable, if the project gets absorbed by another one, or if the project runs out of funds, or the company runs out of funds, or the company going out of business, or the need is not there, right? For a project to be successful, it has to have some kind of need. It has to be feasible. So if it runs out of funds, it's not feasible. And then sometimes companies just change their mind. You start doing a project, and then they're like, well, we don't need this anymore, and the project gets terminated. That's pretty normal. Is the exam simple compared to last year? I did a video on that. that this exam is easier. I'm not. The reason I'm saying it's easier is because they incorporate Agile, and Agile is an easy topic to understand. So, did the exam get easier? In my mind, yes, somewhat it did. All right. So in my mind, it did because it's not that PMI made it easy on purpose. So here's what happens. Back, you go back last year, it was more traditional PMBOK project management. If it's PMBOK project management, what happens is you got to know the whole of PMBOK. And the PMBOK of itself is a complex document. And when they brought Agile, Agile is a very simple thing. Agile is made to be simple. Agile was never made to be complex. PMBOK is complex. So if you have this complex exam and then you take 50% easy things and put it into it, the exam itself will become easier. So when I did that video, I'm telling you guys that because of the inclusion of Agile is why this exam is getting easier. It's like, imagine you had an exam that was all trigonometry. And then they started including just some basic math question on it. They made it 50% basic math. Now the whole exam just became easier because they're including easier topics. So is it simpler than last year? It's a bigger test, but because it's Agile based, to me is easier. Somebody says, is this the correct course to buy if you're using the CAPM? Yes. Okay, guys, let's do some practice questions, right? Let's do our 10 practice questions for the night. We have done 40 minutes here of answering you guys' questions. Let's do some practice questions here. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for that. But you know what? We got a lot of people that passed their exam, and hopefully you guys got some good encouragement from that. Okay, so let's take a look at practice questions here. Okay, this person has a good one. I felt my exam is 75% Agile and they're hybrid. That's a lot of questions. That got bigger than before. I was saying 70%. So any which way, you guys want to make sure you study Agile very well. Okay, guys, let us take a look at some practice questions once again. All right, so let's take a look at the practice question number 1. Again, we got 10 practice questions we're going to be doing tonight. I got some good I got 2 drag and drops at the end, so we got 10 multiple choice. We got 2 drag and drop. Okay, practice question number 1. During the user acceptance stage of your project, several users complain that the deliverables do not meet expectations and they would like to fix many of the deliverables. What is the best way for a project manager to avoid situations like this? A. Incorporate stakeholders' feedback throughout the project. B. Perform risk assessment throughout the project. C. Utilize conflict management techniques. And D. Develop a good relationship with users. Okay, what answer did you guys get? I got a lot of A's. We got a lot of A's here, and I think you guys got this one. All right, so the problem here that we're having in this particular question, where is this mouse? So the problem here we're having in this particular question is people are complaining about deliverable. They want you to fix things, and you guys got to look at the keywords when you're answering these things. It wants to avoid the situation. So Incorporate stakeholder feedback. If you incorporate stakeholder feedback, that means you're gaining it throughout the project. That way, if you get stakeholder feedback throughout the project, there's no reason the project should end and they're not willing to accept it or has errors in it because they were looking at it as it was getting built. This is the good thing about doing agile projects. Perform a risk assessment during the project. That's good, but that does not necessarily avoid the situation. Utilize conflict management techniques. Well, that may solve problems throughout the project, but this particular problem right now happened at the end of the project. Develop a good relationship with users. That's good to do, but I'm not sure how that's going to solve this problem. Okay, let's take a look here at question number 2. Because of changes to regulatory structure, a state agency has become a key stakeholder on a project. The agency will have new requirements that might be added to the scope. What should the project manager do first in this situation? Set up a meeting with the agency. Revise the assumption log. Update the stakeholder engagement plan. Update the scope baseline. Okay, what answer do you guys have? All right, we got a couple of answers here. We got C, we got A, we got B. All right, so we got quite a lot of answer here. A and C. Okay, A and C seems to be the choice that a lot of people are going with. Let's go ahead and see what the answer is. The answer is going to be set up a meeting with the agency. So this is a good question. Here's why. You're looking at this practice question, and the first thing it's, like a whole bunch of your PMP questions, it's going to be like, what is the first thing you should do? Right? What should a project manager do first? Now, this is going to be something you're going to see throughout your exam. People have told me that most of the questions are going to be like this: do first, or what you're going to have, what are you going to do in this situation or this scenario that they're going to use. So, I've always told you guys over and over and over, you don't want to just go out and start doing things without assessing the situation, without looking at different things. Now, this one here, set up a meeting with the agency. You really don't know what this agency wants. You got to say to yourself, well, what is it that this agency wants? What is the agency will have new requirements that needs to be added, but what are these requirements, right? How do you communicate with this agency? By doing A, it'll answer those questions. Revise the assumption logs. You don't know anything about this stakeholder yet. They just became a new stakeholder. You got to go talk to that stakeholder. A lot of you guys got C, update the stakeholder engagement plan. This is taking an action of how to engage them, yet you don't know anything about them. Remember, you should be building your communication management plan. You should have done your stakeholder analysis was the first thing here. And stakeholder analysis, if you guys remember, was in the initiating section. That's a very beginning part of your project. So by doing your stakeholder analysis, you would have determined, okay, this is how they want to be engaged with. That's C. C comes after this. You should do A first. Update the scope baseline. Definitely you don't want to do that because you don't know what is it that they're going to be added in yet. Okay. Yeah, C is taking that action against it. You guys got to be careful when you read these questions. Ask yourself, am I assessing this thing? All right, question number 3. A project manager on a hybrid project for a large multinational organization has just been informed of a new compliance risk that could impact the project severely. The risk could delay the project by over 6 months. What should the project manager do first in this situation? Once again, you got this question of what are we going to be doing first. Update the risk management plan to include the compliance risks. Alert all key stakeholders about the severity of this risk. Meet with the project team to assess the risks. Implement a risk mitigation strategy right away. Okay, what answer did you guys get? What answer did you guys get? Got some A's, we got some C's. What answer did you guys get? A lot of C's now. I think you guys got the point here. I see you guys are on point tonight. A lot of C's here, huh? Okay, so once again, you got this thing. What are you going to be doing first? Remember, the first thing a project manager does is find stuff out, know the situation, know what's happening, evaluate something. First of all, if you got A, you got to study. Okay, if you selected A, I don't know, somebody did select A, you have to do more studying. The risk management plan does not have risks. The risk register has risks, so it's definitely not A. Throw A out. Alert key stakeholder, but you have to analyze the severity of this risk. You have to go and look at this risk. You just can't go alerting people about the risk. Yeah, it seems like the risk, it says could, it doesn't say it will, right? And it says it could impact it. We're not too sure what could is. You just can't use the word could and then go and do things. And that's really what B is. And then come up with an implementation strategy. The team should really review this risk. All right, a lot of you guys got this one. Most of us would get the answer correct. Well, hopefully. Well, not everybody got it right, but hopefully most of you guys will. Here's a common, very common current question. Number 4, a company is moving from traditional project management to an agile approach. A few key stakeholders are unhappy about this move. What should the project manager do first in this situation? Once again, you got this do first thing. Very common on your exam nowadays is companies are moving from agile to traditional or traditional to agile. All right, A, inform them that agile has more benefits. B, inform them that agile will allow more feedback from stakeholders. C, determine the training requirements for the team and the key stakeholders on agile methods. D, tell them the move is necessary due to all benefits of agile. This one was a little bit of a tricky one. What is the first thing that we're going to be doing? A lot of C's here. All right, I got to make these questions a little bit too hard. I think you guys are just too smart right now. It seems like it. No one is. Okay, so this question I made up from the exam objectives, the exam content outline. One of the things that actually was like word for word what it says there. One of the things that we have to do when a company first moves to agile is you want to make sure that people are trained on it. If people are not trained on how agile works, they're going to be very resistant to it. A lot of times, and this is not just here, but in real life, a lot of times you go into an agile environment or you want to move to an agile environment and everybody's like, we don't want to because you know what? They don't understand it. Once people understand agile, they'll like it. The benefits of agile. I mean, you watch me teach the agile section people have told me I sound like a salesperson selling agile. And that's because I think it's good stuff. And once you know about it, you're trained on it, you understand it, then you'll probably be less resistance to it. Okay, question number 5. All right, Kenny says, I got a lot of questions styled this way on the real exam. Neha says like that too. with the training. A lot of questions like that. Yeah, you guys are going to get a lot of questions on the exam where companies are moving from one to the other, and then they're going to have some kind of a problem. All right, some kind of a problem, and then you're going to have to fix it. Okay, guys, question number 5. A project manager is having a hard time getting consistent input from stakeholders because they're not fully participating in project meetings. How should the project manager handle the situation? Utilize political awareness, update risk management tools and techniques, use meeting management techniques, use facilitation techniques. This one I thought was a tricky question. There's a trick on this question, so be careful. Let's just say it's not as straightforward as you think it is. All right? Let's just say that. Okay, a lot of D's, a lot of C's, a lot of D's, a lot of C's. You managing a project, you're doing your project meetings, okay? Where's my mouse? You're doing your project meetings. You're not getting input from stakeholders because they're not participating in the project meetings, not fully participating. How should you handle this? There's really 2 good answers. First of all, let's eliminate A. It's not going to help you here. Risk management tools. This is not really something that's a risk management tools and techniques thing. You need to do something to get people to participate. What can we do to get consistent inputs, or you have a hard time getting inputs? So meeting management techniques is just, it's managing your meetings overall. It's basically telling people to stay on topic and keeping the meetings to 15 minutes and or making sure you do meeting minutes. Those are meeting management. But during that meeting itself, right? During that meeting itself, you have to come up with a way to become a facilitator, to have people participate. You see, a good project manager, first of all, meeting management techniques are easy. It's just making sure people stay on track. But you as a good project manager will get people to talk. How do you facilitate a meeting where people are just not communicating? What can I do? What can I say? What techniques can I do to have them talk to me? Sometimes the best requirements and solutions comes from people that you'll never believe that they can possibly come from. How do you get that out of them? Good facilitation. Okay, guys, question number 6. The project manager realizes that several team members are behind on their task on an Agile project. This may cause the sprint to be delayed by an additional week. How should the project manager handle the situation? Schedule a meeting with the appropriate team members to review their task and select a strategy for resolving the issue. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor, or meet with the team members and tell them your solution for the delays. Update all task logs to incorporate the new risk involved. Okay, what answer did you guys get? This one should have been pretty easy for you guys now. This one should be pretty easy for you guys. All right, we got some A's in here. All right, you guys are too smart now, man. You guys got this, right? Too easy. I'm going to give you guys some good tips on this. I remember doing this question, and I was like, okay, I got to just remind the students of something. Okay, so let's go through the choices here on which one you should never select. Okay, on your exam, okay, here's a quick tip. Anytime it says escalated to the project sponsor, I'm not saying it'll never be the answer, but it's probably not going to be the answer. Probably not, right? You have to fix things on a project. Escalating an issue up to the project sponsor is a choice that you may only use very, very rarely, where the project is just incapable of fixing it. But you probably don't want to escalate anything. How would you handle it? Don't pass it off. That's how, That's something you don't do. It's like me hiring you to do something and then you're passing back the problem to me. All right, so B is probably never an answer. Meet with the team members and tell them your solution. Don't be a dictator. That's a dictator. You just don't come up with your own solutions. Get the team involved. Let them come up with the solutions. They're the best people for that. Remember this whole concept of servant leadership. D, update all task log. I'm not sure what that's going to do. You got to, this here does not, if you're updating something, you're in a situation where there's a problem. You go and you update something, doesn't really address the situation. Not a good choice. All right. I've made you guys all smart. Well, I hope so. Hopefully you guys all pass. All right. Practice question number 7. Which 3 documents should the project manager use to ensure that a recently commissioned project component was signed off on and ownership transferred? A, final report. B, project document update. C, procurement agreements. D, stakeholder management plan. And E, organizational process assets. All right, choose 3. Daniel, in the previous question, try to resolve the issue with it fair, would B be the best answer? I don't know, Daniel. I'm not gonna answer that because I don't know. I don't know. It just depends. It depends on how the question is worded. It depends on how the choices was worded. All right, I think this one here was too easy. Seems like you guys got this one pretty easy. Okay, the answer here, so you're finishing off a project. This is a question where they're asking you the actual output of the process, close project or phase. That's what really this question is. And if you look at the output there, really you get the final report. You're going to get the project document updates. You're going to get the OPA updates. So really, it's looking at that and just knowing the outputs there. But even if you don't memorize ITTOs, which I tell you you don't, you should still get this one because when a project is done, you have to write the final report. You have to make sure all documents are fully updated to show that the project was closed, and then update any additional templates or plans or policies and OPA, EEFs, and that type of thing should be updated. All right. Let's go to question number 8. A stakeholder on your international hybrid project has fallen ill and can't be involved as actively. How should the project manager handle the situation? A, revise the stakeholder engagement plan. Update the charter. Revise the stakeholder register. Update the project management plan. All right, what answer are we going to go with? Pretty easy question. I think you guys should get this one. This I thought was a pretty easy question. Okay, a lot of A's here. So this particular one, now this guy has fallen ill and is not going to be actively participating. How should you handle this? First of all, it says, it really comes down to, you're not going to update the charter. The charter doesn't have stakeholders, a list of stakeholders in it. Update the project management plan. You want to do something more specific, right? How should you handle this? Revise the stakeholder revise the stakeholder register. Stakeholder register has has all the stakeholders in it, but at this point you got to see how we're engaging the stakeholder. They can't be involved as actively. It's not like you're removing the stakeholder. So at this point, redo the engagement plan and see how best ways we can engage that stakeholder. Okay, that ends that section, guys. Let's do some matching questions on here. Okay, so I got just some terms really quickly. Let's just do some terms. So what you guys are going to do is read the terms and then drag it to where it belongs. All right, so you guys are just going to write it down. You have 1, 2, 3. Just put it. You can put that in order. Do this matching question here. Let's see what you guys got. You guys got a few minutes for this. You guys have a few minutes on this. Let's see who has been studying. If you guys have been studying, this shouldn't be too difficult. All right, shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, guys, let's go through this. So we got the sprint backlog, product backlog, and the scope statement. So project requirements from the customers on an Agile project. That is going to be the product backlog, right? The product backlog has a list of all requirements that the customers want or the product owner wants on your Agile project. Project requirements on a traditional project, we don't have a product backlog. On a traditional project, we have a scope statement. Work the team selects to get done in the next sprint is the sprint backlog. So the sprint backlog comes from the sprint planning meeting. All right, so I shouldn't have said that. I think I gave away one of the next one. Okay, hopefully you guys got this one. Let's take a look at question number 10. Let's do some more matching the terms here to the meeting. These are going to be more specifically about meetings. All right, let's take a look once again. Okay, guys, I think you guys have gotten this pretty easily also. All right, inspection done at the end of the sprint by the customer. So this is being done by the customer. So this is going to be the sprint. Is it the sprints, the stand-up, the plan? No, this is be the sprint review meeting. All right. It's a quick meeting each day to discuss the project status. This is going to be the stand-up. This should actually be named the daily stand-up. I took out the word daily there because I didn't want it to, give away the answer there. Sprint planning meeting is obviously going to be the last one. This is done by the team to determine what will get done in the next sprint. This here, I'll put this the sprint backlog. All right, guys, very good. Okay, so we are done here with questions. Let's bring back up my questions box. Here we go. All right. Hopefully you guys had some fun tonight. Oh, somebody asked me about lead-in and lag-in metrics. Somebody had asked me that earlier. So lead-in metrics are ways of measuring things in the future. Lag-in metrics is measuring things that happened before. That's all that is. So how do we think performance will happen in the future is going to be a lead-in metrics. Remember, metrics means to measure. And then what happened before is in the lag-in metrics. Somebody had asked me that question before. Oh boy, here we go, another one. It's like number 50 now. Okay, another one says, hello Andrew, I just wanted to say that I passed my Saturday. I got target, above target, above target. Did the 300 questions in private 3 days before. Modi, good luck. That's so good. Congratulations. Make sure to get some cake, carrot cake, chocolate cake, whatever you like. Really, congratulations to that. It's such a great feeling to know when you pass an exam, right? Satish is asking me a good question. Oh yes, you guys please like the video. And we did make over 100 people today. Oh, that's very good. Hey guys, milestone today, guys. We got over 100 people watching today. Let's hit 200 next week, okay? Can we get that? You guys got to go on the forums and you got to tell people to join us. Remember, the more questions people have, guys, the more you're going to learn from them, the more they're going to learn from you, the more encouragement we all get. Modi, congratulations once again. So refining the product backlog. All right, so then, this is something that's done throughout your Agile project. Because you want to go through it, you want to remove things that's probably, or reprioritize things that are probably should belong at the top, remove things to the bottom that should be at the bottom. Somebody says to me, question number 7. I can't remember what that was. Question number 7. I'm not sure what was question. Tell me what the answer was you got. Mr. G says, can I rely on your question bank to pass the exam? A lot of people do. It's fine. Somebody asked me, does my PMP exam certification prep course 35 PDUs? Yes, that includes Agile and Hybrid. Somebody's taking their exam on the 16th. Good luck. Okay, somebody's asking me a question. Solicitation planning. I'm not too sure. Or it's a term I haven't heard yet. Solicitation planning. I mean, that should be like when you're getting like vendors, contractors, right? It's not a term I remember seeing in PMBOK, if I remember right. Procurement solicitation or solicitation of procurement. Yes. That's, solicitation literally means just to get bids on your contracts. Okay, guys. Hopefully you guys had some fun today. The blue shirt, yes. Once again, back with the blue shirt. Okay, I gotta. Last week I didn't have a blue shirt. I gotta make sure I stick to the blue shirt. Yeah, it's part of procurement. Solicitation should be done. Refinement should be done throughout. Refining or the product backlog. Guys, you guys have a good evening. You guys got so many people that pass your exam. Somebody's saying, where can I find questions on Agile? Take my course, take PrepCast. They all have questions in Agile. In the list of 20,000, I don't know. I've never heard of a list of 20,000. Don't do 20,000 questions. Why are you doing that? Just do what we know that works. Okay, do what we know that works. We know, classes like Minds and the others, the good ones like Joseph Phillips and PrepCast and whoever, those work. PrepCast works, my questions, my book, whatever. Do what works. I don't know what 20,000 is all about. Guys. What's the name of the dog? I'm not sure. You mean my dog? My dog's name is Ginger. Next session. You know what? Yeah, we'll try. I'll try to get a lot of Agile questions in there. I got to do, I've got a lot of people that said they got, they were getting questions on scenarios on Tuckman. I got to make one of that. Drag and drop. I think a lot of people got questions on that. Guys, we did very well tonight, guys. We got over 100 people. Please go out. Let your friends know who's taking the exam for them to join us. And if you're taking your exam within the next 7 days, come back. Let us know. Don't forget about us. Thank you for all the folks that passed this exam. You guys coming back and telling everyone what happened means a lot to all of us. It makes my day to know. It makes my day to know that you guys are passing. The best feeling I get is when somebody passes. So hopefully, you guys come back when you guys take your exam and pass, and then encourage everybody else. Send me a LinkedIn invite if you haven't done that already. I know all my students on LinkedIn. And you don't have to be my student too, whatever. Doesn't matter who you take the class from. Send me a LinkedIn invite. Let me know how you're doing. Where can I get the cheat sheets? Check my study guide. I think it's all in there. Or the Udemy course has a bunch in there also. Check the end of it. Guys, you guys have a good night. I will see you guys next week. We'll do another 10 questions. Don't forget to tell your friends. And don't forget to like the video. All right? We don't have 100 likes. Come on. We should get 100 likes. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. And you guys, have a good night. Have a good week. Have a good morning wherever you are. Night, morning, afternoon, whatever. Good luck, guys. Good luck on your exam if you're taking your exam. I wish you the best. Have a good night.